I brought my crocheting just in case. I don't know why I brought it.
I did the exact same thing. When I first started, well, not crocheting, but when I first started podcasting, I'll bring a notebook so I can draw whilst I'm podcasting. And I think that's like an ADHD thing as well, because it's like you have to like focus on two things to focus on the one thing.
Yeah.
And like crochet away, babe. Like it helps with like well, just structure. It's really interesting. Oh my God, that's so good.
Thanks.
Wow. Make it, oh my God, amazing.
Thanks.
Oh, I got into, have you seen wire wrapping?
No, what's that?
It's like, so you get like a crystal or a stone and then you wrap wire around it. I'm sure if I showed you a picture, you would recognize it.
Yeah. Like how some people have it as like necklaces.
Yeah, I got into that and like it's annoying because I guess it's another ADHD thing. I loved it and then I got over it.
Yes, that's ADHD. But I have, since taking my medication, I've got into crocheting and I've not stopped yet.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, nah, I need to get into this episode quick then, because like, look at you giving all the tips and tricks. But amazing. I'm gonna start, okay? Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of DM Talk. This podcast aims to promote well-being and assist healing, whether that be physically, mentally or spiritually. Ultimately, we just want to be seen in our entirety, and this podcast is to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all the centre of our own universe, so why don't we do more to better our own existence? No, thank you for that, because I needed it. Like, it's so funny because this is literally, I'm probably recording for what? This is like the 40th time or like maybe the 38th time that I've ever recorded, and I still stutter around my bloody intro, and it's just like, what? Like, I literally know this. I know this. But we move. Anyway, hello everyone. Hope you guys are having a lovely Sunday. I am really excited for this conversation today. I am joined by, how do I even describe you? You are such a great being. Like, you're funny, you're charismatic, you're not even just a little bit funny, you're actually hilarious. Like, and like,
at work, we started putting, I'm sorry, I'm just completely going off track.
That's fine.
We started, like validation pockets in the staff room.
Yeah.
So everyone puts like a little note of validation in for people whenever they want. Yeah. And I got one today that said, "You're so unintentionally funny. Your facial expressions kill me." And I'm like, you saying I've got a funny face?
No, I get it. Because someone could say something and like your face will say it all. Do you know what I mean? Like someone could say something and you'd be like, do you know what I mean? And it's just so funny. And like your little giggle as well. Like I think working with you was I don't know how to explain it. It's just like, you know, when you have a friend that you're gassed to see at work, and like if you're on the same shift with them, you're like, yeah, let's get it. Like, it was just like that. But it also bloomed to lovely friendship, because I feel like you taught me a lot, I taught you a lot. Do you know what it is? It's when we used to go on the bus together. We used to get the bus home, and that's where it develops.
Yeah.
And then we realised we had mutual friends. But I haven't even bloody said your name yet. Oh my God. Welcome to the virtual stage, to the incredible, to the magnificent, to the beautiful crocheter, Eve. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, I'm so happy to have you on. I'm so happy.
Thank you. And welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. No, but it's nice because like you're always listening to podcasts, and now you are the person on the podcast. How do you feel?
I feel famous.
You are.
I feel really excited. Do you know when you're like walking along the road, listen to a podcast, and then you just think about, oh, if I was on this podcast, I'd say this, and this. It's not happening.
Exactly. Look at you manifesting it. And like, I think today as well, this week we're going to be talking about ADHD. And I think like it will be so good to have a thought out discussion with someone who has gone through the process of getting diagnosed, and how, like, what is life in the ADHD sphere that I'm slowly understanding, but also you understand. And it's just like, oh, there's so many questions. There's so many bloody questions, you know? And I think as women as well, like, because there's such an underrepresentation of women, I mean, women have ADHD, but they just don't get diagnosed as quickly as boys, or they get diagnosed at later in their adulthood. And it just shows you like how much we've been raw dogging life.
Oh, yeah, raw dogging life. Literally.
We've been raw dogging life. Yeah. And honestly, like raw, like I don't even know what to say. It's a lot.
It's like a lot of the symptoms in girls is really different to the symptoms in boys.
Yeah.
So then it's like it gets just like palmed off as things like PMS, anxiety.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, if I'd have known this when I was in school, oh my gosh.
A lot of things would have been different.
So much easier, so much different. Oh my gosh. Then I was thinking, just then, when you were saying about, I can't remember. I can't fucking remember.
ADHD.
But I was just thinking, like, it is truly, like, I was about to say, like, it's become my personality. Yeah. But it always has been my personality. Like, my personality always said, I've got ADHD. But I just didn't know what it was. It was just my personality. Yeah. And now I'm like, now my personality is to be like, oh, yeah, sorry about this part of my personality. I'm not apologising for it. But, like, talking about ADHD, everyone fucking knows I've got ADHD now because I won't shut up about it.
Yeah, but I'm happy that you, well, actually, you know what? We'll get more into it in Decoding the Messages. I'm happy that you did because of you, I felt more comfortable, and I'm sure other people felt more comfortable at learning what their own relationship with ADHD is. Because it's like, it's that thing, like, I know people get annoyed about, you know, infographics, like generalizing or simplifying like conditions. It's like, okay, I understand why you're pressed about it, but equally for the people who are actually experiencing these things, they can make sense of them and they can feel related and not feel so isolated in life, you know? But yeah, no, we're going to save that. We're going to save that in Decoding the Messages, right? First nomination, no. Look at me getting all jittery and stuff. But that means our first segment. Pardon?
I'm making it nervous.
A little bit. I'm getting gassed. I'm blushing. But no, that takes us to our first segment, and that's the Divine. The Divine is a segment where we nominate a good thing, something that has shown light. And I, this week, want to nominate just ballroom culture. Like, I absolutely love it. I think it is, like, incredible, innovative, pioneer. It's literally the baseline for everything that we love in society. And honestly, I'm obsessed. I've been watching non-stop just different forms of like voguing, and like I'm trying to decide which one's my favorite. But I started this dance class, which is Vogue Femme, and that's very like fluid and very soft and very like well, it can be actually very dramatic. You know, when people do dips and you just see them like jump into their back and you're like, whoa, like I need to stretch like you. I just found it really, really helpful. I think it's helping me with my confidence. It's helping me trust my body more. I've also been watching this show called Legendary, and Legendary is on HBO. It's an American show, but it's just like a snippet into ballroom culture, and it does different houses compete for different prizes, and actually that's wrong. So different houses compete for the grand prize of £100,000, right? And it's lovely because it's like ballroom culture, like houses, voguing, all of this stuff. Like they've been doing this since what, the 1970s, or like the early, some period in the 90s in New York, like for cash, for status, for celebration, for love, for abundance, for all of these different things. And this snippet of them in like a mainstream platform just showcases how beautiful their artwork is. And like there's so many like powerhouses that are on this show. So you've got Leomi, what she's called, also known as like Mother Amazon. She's literally like an icon, like a pioneer in voguing, and seeing her being able to like go through what she's gone through and be a judge on this show, because it's obviously her right. It's just so like, I'm so proud of her. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like her faith. Pardon?
Is it a competition show?
Yeah, it's a competition show.
Okay, nice.
Sorry, I probably should have said that at the beginning. But yeah, it's just I really enjoyed it. Like, I know it got a little bit of criticism just because who's that babe who's also in The Good Place? I think her name's like Jamelia Jamil.
Oh, Jamil.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but
I know exactly who you mean.
Yeah, she's a guest.
No.
Pardon?
I just tried to say her name again and I can't remember.
let's not even try. But basically, oh my god, I nearly just got taken out by my mic. But she was a guest judge she's a judge on the show, and I know there's a lot of people being like, what the fuck, why is she a judge? But the show, one thing I do say, the show celebrates the contestants and centers the contestants a lot more than the judges. Like, I think the show allows the contestants to, you see their history, you see their art form, you see their practice, you see so many different sides of them. I'd say it's probably like 80% contestants, 20% judges. But yeah, I found it very entertaining and I loved it, and it's definitely inspired me to Vogue more and just practice. And I just want to say thank you to Ballroom Culture, because it's honestly like the most creative, colourful thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. So that's my nomination.
Yeah.
I love it. I honestly love it. Like, I'm literally there in my room, like, do, like trying to do old wave. Baby steps though. Pardon?
That's very strange.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've been thinking about what I'm going to nominate.
Yes.
And this is genuine. This is not just because you said that.
Okay.
This is so weird. I want to nominate. I just want to nominate dancing. Is that weird? Isn't that weird? Isn't that fucking weird?
Woo.
No, because I was thinking about it. Like, I've been on a week off from work, which I am also nominating my fucking holiday, because I'm not on a week off in November. I'm nominating that as well.
Damn straight. Well done.
Yeah, but I've been off for 5 days, and I've been on 3 nights out. And obviously been dancing. I just fucking love dancing.
Yes.
Like, as you probably know, anyone who knows me knows I love a boogie.
Love a boogie. This is your boo.
I know. Literally, I just fucking love dancing so much. And like, but I don't dance, as in like, I dance.
Yeah. You dance.
I don't do dance classes. I've never, I did like ballet and tap when I was little and then had to stop because of like disabled and stuff. But like, I love just dancing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be in work and I'll just start bopping. Like, I just love like going out and just spending the whole night just dancing.
Honestly.
I just think it's so freeing.
It really is.
And like, and I don't understand how people can listen to a song and not just be bopping.
Honestly. Like, no, you're so right.
Yeah, I just love it. And I was just thinking about like how nothing in life makes me happier than a good song coming on and just having such a good boogie.
Yeah.
And like, you don't have to be dancing to dance.
Of course. It's literally, it's just what you enjoy to do. If you want to sway, if you want to jump, if you want to twerk, like, just do your thing. Like, and I think like everybody can appreciate dancing because it's literally just an extension, you know, like you're just moving. And I think like dancing, especially as someone who literally dances non-stop, like I literally I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, I've got the excitement of a rabbit, or like I've got the excitement of like an 8-year-old child when it comes to dancing. Oh my god, did you see that video of that kid in the disco? And he's like boom, boom, boom. Have you seen it? Oh my god, it's so funny. I'll send it to you afterwards.
Yeah,
there's like this,
I think I have.
and he's got rhythm. He's like a 7-year-old white boy, and he says It's just like, God.
It's like that girl, and she's like, I think she's like at a birthday party or something, and she's like on a bouncy castle. fucking love that. Sometimes I watch that, I'm like, that is me.
Honestly. And I just love it because like dancing it's like what you said, it's so freeing, and you can like really just lose yourself in motion. Like I remember, even though I dance all the time, like I remember like when we were in lockdown, I was really sad about like, you know, when you go out and you can just really just get down, you can really shake and stuff. And like obviously I dance at home, but there's something about going to a club and you haven't seen a DJ in a while, you haven't heard music for a while, like, it's just like a little bit different.
And you're in that place where every single person around you is also dancing.
Exactly.
That, like, oh God, I like long for it. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. In lockdown, that was one of the things that got me down the most. Like the fact that I could in that environment of like just where the energy is just so.
I love that. I love how we are so in sync. Like it just shows that you just we like to move. But then actually, you know what's quite funny, because this can be a great segue to our next segment, Decoding the Messages. So Decoding the Messages is where we unpack something that we consider mess, whether that be online and offline. And this week we're going to be talking about ADHD. I bring up dancing because it's like, I think ever since I was a child I was dancing, right? Like I literally came out of the womb like snapping my finger. Like I was moving, and like even I went out fairly recently to this group, and I met these group of people that I'd never met me before. Well, they've known me, but we've never met in the physical like space. And they're like, Sarah, you just love to move, and I'm like, I know. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be like 80, still popping and locking and just like doing all these like different things.
But I will.
No, you know, because it's so freeing. But then also, I think like I think that must have been like another manifestation or physical, like a manifestation of ADHD, because it's like someone has so much energy, they need to expel it. So let me just do it dancing. Let me do it with a bit of a bop. Let me do it with a bit of a movement.
Yeah, I think there's something to it as well with the whole like, I'm sure this is ADHD. The whole like not really having much shame kind of thing. So like we went out the other night, and it was my friend was in a drag competition, and the competition started at like 7:30. We got there, it was in Brewers at 7:30. It was like club vibe, but everyone was sober, and it was 7:30. And I got there, and the second I walked in, I just started dancing. And like I've been dancing for ages, and then I kind of looked around and I realised no one else was dancing. Everyone was just around chatting, and like me and like I think like two of my friends were literally just there like the whole time, like boogieing the whole time, waiting for this competition to start. And yeah, I was like, I just don't give a shit that no one else is dancing, because I'm here, I am loving it. And like, you know, when like people at work are like, when I'm just like dancing at work, people are like, oh my God, you're so funny, like, or like no in front of customers, like whatever. I'm just like, bang them tunes up, I'm dancing, I'm ready. Like when the vibe gets shit at work, I'm literally just like, yeah, let's go. And like customers are like, oh my gosh, me and Danny were Proud Mary came on the other day, and we were literally there at the door like da da da, and this like,
I love that for you guys
with us. It was so funny.
Oh my God, no, I love that. But like it's interesting as well, because like it's two things. I think it's just the sheer enjoyment, you know, that you're able to like express and release through dancing. But then it's true about the shame thing, because like, well, the lack of shame thing, because like people will be like not in front of customers. I'm like, what do you mean? Like it's calm. Like, and also this customer's going to be in and they're going to be out. Like it's not resisting to me to move, and it's not unprofessional for me to move, you know. This is another reason why I need to be in a job, which is, I mean, if I'm self-employed, sick. But if I'm in a job, I need to be active, because something for me, sitting on a computer or sitting down for X amount of time is my version of hell.
Yeah, I get you. But you know, if I get an office job though, I'm still going to be like blasting that music and bopping in my chair.
That's true. That's true. You can learn to do some footwork. I need to see. Like do that, do some stepping. But no, I just find it really, really interesting. Do you think as well? Well, I mean, talk to me. When did you sort of notice that you might have ADHD, or that you have ADHD?
Well,
story time.
Well, so I've always been like, there's always been something where I've always been like, oh, I don't know, I'm like a bit different to people. Like emotionally, I just like, things are different. And I remember just like really early on things, I remember having like this argument with my mum, and there's this thing that I do in arguments that turns out I've now found is an ADHD thing, where I can't let an argument lie. Like it has to be sorted. Like, so I have an argument with my mum, and I just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Like it'll be, and I'll be like, oh, and just by the way, and like, and can we just like, and I remember my mum just shouting like to my dad or something. We had like this really bad argument. I was like really little, and she said, "It's like she's got fucking ADHD or something like that." And like I remember that when she said that, I was like, "Do you know what I mean?" And then she now like says about that, like I feel so bad because it actually was like true, and like I was just said it heat and moment anger, and then like I was on the bus with my friend. Like a few years ago, and we were like, I think I was like really pissing him off. I think he was really I was just being really like annoying, and he was like, oh my god, it's like you got fucking ADHD. And then like 2 times people have said it to me, and I've been like, I remember saying to him, don't say that, because people have said that to me before and it really stresses me out. And I've always had this personality my whole life that people annoying,
and
like my
literally
and I've always been, it's been that thing that if people ever say I'm annoying, it really gets me, like, because I'm like, why does everyone say I'm annoying? Like now I know it's ADHD, but that's something my whole life has been like. And I remember I'd always get in these moods where I'd be like really really overexcited, and I'd know that I'm annoying people. I'd be, this is why everyone calls me annoying. Turns out that was just ADHD. Do you know what I mean? But so the reason then I got diagnosed is because, so it's exactly what you were talking about before with the whole infographics on Instagram. So Ellie, do you know Ellie?
Not too sure. Maybe if I saw their face, I would. Oh, what, blonde? Block fringe.
Ellie put on her Instagram story, she kept putting infographics about ADHD, and every time she put them on, I was like, that's not ADHD, that's everyone gets that. And then I'd go on these like meme pages and I'd read through them, I'd be like, hang on, this is my whole personality, this is my whole life. I remember messaging at one point like, I'm getting a bit stressed now because these memes you keep sharing, I can relate to everything, and I was looking at them and thinking, that is me, does everyone not get that? And then she was saying, oh, you should look into getting diagnosed. And then me and Jack did just an online quiz. Do you know one where you like on a scale
from 1 to 10, do you?
Like answer these questions like unlikely, very unlikely, whatever, that kind of thing. Sorry, I did a hiccup.
No, don't worry. If you see, I literally every time I go like this, I'm like.
It's when you talk so much, that's gassy.
Honestly.
But yeah, so so me and him did this quiz, and every single question I was like, very likely, very likely, very likely, and every single one he was doing, because anyone who knows Jack knows me and him are like opposites,
yeah,
and everything he was like, never, 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 and we did it, and then I was literally like, but then you had to pay to see your results.
Oh, bastards.
But we were literally like at the end of it, like, nah, like I've answered every single one of these as very likely.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at the symptoms on like NHS website or something, and I was like, yeah, this is all me. So I called my GP and I was like, I did an online quiz and I think I might have ADHD. And basically that was pretty much all I did. And she went, okay, I'm gonna put a referral in. And then I got a form that I had to fill out in the post, and I had to fill it out. Someone who I live with now had to fill it out, so Ben filled it out, and then someone who I lived with when I was a child had to fill it out, so my mum and dad filled it together, and then basically all of them, again, all the answers were very likely or likely. Sent it back, and then literally within a few weeks I had a Zoom call with a doctor. And he was literally just like watching me on Zoom, and he literally was just like, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind you've got ADHD. But I just want to say that was what happened. That was how I got diagnosed. And then I literally went on medication 2 weeks later or something.
Mm-hmm.
That was how I got diagnosed. But I know for a fact that that is like a rarity, and I don't know why. Like for me, it took from like February to like I'm going to say April, so like 2 months, the whole process. I know that no one else has had that experience. I don't know why I was so lucky, because so many people, I've spoken to so many people about it since, and so many people are like, yeah, I've been told it's a 5-year waiting list. Like, oh, like I asked for a referral, I'm still waiting a year later.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what happened with me and how.
It's I guess, I don't know, there's so many reasons, but I'm very glad that you were able to have that process, because like that's how it should be done. But when you, let's say like with me, I've tried to be referred by my doctor, but my doctor, well, let me start again actually. So, have you heard of Psychiatry UK?
No.
So basically, Psychiatry UK are an independent company within the UK that do ADHD and autism referrals, or like, not, sorry, I forgot the word. I was about to say, like, what is it when you get like
diagnosis?
Diagnosis. Sorry, I'm all over today. But I mean this to say, like, Psychiatry UK are an independent company that are able to do diagnoses for ADHD and autism, right? And I actually found them through TikTok, right? So I went to my doctor and I told them about this ADHD, but they also gave me these examples of, it's going to take a long time, etc., etc. So then when I found Psychiatry UK, I had to sort of advocate for myself with this independent like company. And I had to say to them, like, look, I understand that you might not be able to do the, sorry, I realised I've got salt on my hair. I was just taking it out. You know, ocean salt.
I was like, what are you doing?
I know, like, I was like, if anybody looks at the visuals, I hope they don't think I have dandruff. I've got salt in my hair. But
I've not got my glasses on, so.
Okay, sick. But basically, I had to go to my GP and advocate for myself with this external company, and I had to say to them that you guys need to go and give the green light to Psychiatry UK because of my right to choose, so I can get diagnosed with ADHD. That was probably in maybe October, or maybe how long ago was that? It was winter last year, and we're in March now, so you can see that it takes a long time. But I know people that have gone to try and do it privately, and they end up having to spend $2,000 on like the process, and then on top of that, because they did it private, they have to pay for their medication as well. And I just find it very frustrating, because it just shows you how there's so many obstacles within the healthcare system that like deny people of getting their right diagnosis or having that conversation. And even earlier, like you're talking about being annoying. Like I was also described as that. I was also described as being too much, you know, being too energetic, you know. And like I found it very deflating, because it was like, rah, who do I chill with in it? So if I'm being overly energetic, let me just hang around with people that just accept me or are just as energetic, so I don't have to hear this criticism all the time. And it's very frustrating, because I think as you grow up as well, you don't realize it, but you do start to internalize those messages that is being sent out to you, because it doesn't matter if it's a school friend or a parent or a teacher or etc. It's like, okay, so how can I just accommodate myself so that I can look after myself, but also not be influenced for the environment around me? And it can make you quite isolated as well, because you don't really want to talk to people who don't understand you, or who are going to complain about what mood you get. I also want to say, like, as well, I think I noticed that I was a very proactive child growing up, but also, like, I was a black child in a predominantly white area. Like, if you're calling me destructive, are you calling me destructive because I am ADHD, like, because I have ADHD, or is it because I'm black? You know, like, how can you show that. So I didn't trust the people that were also criticizing me. What I'm talking about from a teacher perspective, because it's like I didn't have anybody like advocating for me. Like I only had to advocate for myself, and it was very like isolating, because it's just like, how do I just look after myself? You know, we're young, we're young, we want to enjoy life, we want to enjoy school, but then when you hear these criticisms about yourself that other people aren't getting, you don't know what to believe, because it's like, I don't know if this is from the fact that you're racist or the fact that I'm just too energetic.
Yeah, I get you.
It's very confusing, but I also think that like with ADHD as well, it just shows you how like the conversation has been centered so much around like white boys when they were like children, that it doesn't really give room for anyone who looks like that. And like that's why so many women get diagnosed when they're older, because they don't have the freedom. Because let's say if we looked a bit like similar to Tommy in school, then maybe we would have had people check in on us, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like it's like a trope of like with girls who have ADHD in school. It's like they're always the one who's like the overachiever, but so like getting great grades, things like that, but also getting in trouble, struggling, like to maybe like reach deadlines. Like I got in so much trouble for like struggling to like always being late with homework, always being like loud in class, like always like arguing with teachers, things like that. But then because I was also getting really good grades, I think like no one picked up on it. And it's like now I look at and I find out about things about symptoms in girls, like symptoms in young girls and things like that. And like, oh my fucking God, it was so obvious. And like, I'm so frustrated that it wasn't picked up. I know my mum said that she feels really bad about the fact that they didn't know. Because it was always when I was little, everyone always knew me as like Crazy Eve. Like I used to be called Crazy Evie by like my family. And like it was just a thing that I was just like mad, full of energy, hilarious, things like that. It was like all of that was ADHD. But I was like to my mum, like, they're not the ones to be picking up on it because they see just their child. And
exactly.
Their child. Teachers should know. Teachers see different kids constantly. They should be able to pick out, oh yeah, this one's got ADHD, this one's got autism. They should then be the ones, I personally think.
100.
I've seen other children like this before. This is typical of this. Maybe we should get doctors about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
100%, because the thing is, teachers have, like, we're not the only student that they're teaching. You know, they're going to be able to identify patterns a lot quicker than a child or someone's parent. Because that's the thing, I think, like, as a parent, you're going to be biased. You're going to look after your child, you know? And, like, obviously with teachers, they only see them in, like, a specific setting. So it's like, oh, they're going to see them in school. They're going to see them how they interact with their classmates. They're going to see them with their deadlines, you know? Like, that is a lot more different than being at home where you have the freedom to just sort of exist, you know? And I think, like, especially with teachers, they have so much, like, they have a duty of care to their students. They have to be proactive with sort of understanding that they're accommodating to so many different students. So whether that's like a different culture or whether that's like being neurodivergent, like I'm sure that you learn about it on your way to teaching. Do you know what I mean? Like it can't have been like you got to teach a class and that's when you start learning about ADHD and autism or anything about neurodivergency. I don't believe it.
They must do, because I know that Jack's mum's a head teacher, and I know that because I've had conversations with her about it, and I know she has put children forward and said said to people's parents, like, I think your child has this. Like, why don't you look into a diagnosis? So surely they must know.
Exactly.
If that's one teacher doing it, then surely they all must.
But I guess
have something.
I guess like a lot of people go down the wayside, you know, because like teachers are people. And I know definitely when I was in that all girls school, I definitely saw the problems within the teachers a lot more than other classmates because I was a boarder. So like I would see these people, I mean, I'd see these teachers as people, but I'd also see their flaws a bit quicker. And I think like because of that, and I mean, let's say what is racism, they sort of allowed, like they didn't want to give me a chance. They didn't want to give me a try because they didn't really care about my well-being. They just wanted me to do my work and not be too much of a pain for them, you know? And it was really frustrating because I remember I used to get into arguments with teachers and then they would be annoyed at the fact that I'm like, it was such a weird dynamic. It was such a weird dynamic because I'm there like advocating for myself or reason I'm advocating for why I'm doing something a certain way, but because it's not neurotypical and it's not similar to them, they are annoyed at it. And I'm like, but it's getting done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm really hoping that schools changed a bit since we were there. Because like it's that thing of like you have to make accommodations for people who are neurotypical, and people don't seem to not realise it or not think about it. Like I literally in work the other day had a meeting with they've made a neurodiversity community network.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on it and I had like a meeting with them and we were just talking about all of the kind of things that you don't realise in work are actually very ableist.
Mm-hmm.
Like very ableist. And
yeah, I was actually in a training on Thursday. I think it's going to be sent out. Yeah, there was a training from 10 till 12 that I had to practice, that we had like a practice in. And then they're going to send that training to everyone.
Yes. Yeah, I've heard about that. I was going to see if we could get it like early, like be one of the trial ones as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like it was so fucking mad. Like some of the, especially like because so obviously like I'm supervisor, so I a lot of things happen that I'm like, I feel like this would be a lot easier if I was neurotypical. Like a lot of like the admin shit.
Oh my God, don't even tell me about fucking admin. Honestly, I want to bang my head aggressively against the wall.
Yeah. And on that call though, there was like at least 3 other people who had been supervisors at different points and had to step down or got demoted. And I was just thinking like, I'd really like to know what percentage of the people who get demoted from managerial positions are actually neurodivergent and they've got demoted or they've had to step down because of something that could have really just easily been an accommodation to make it more accessible.
Exactly.
Okay, step down, or okay, I'm sorry, you can't handle this role. You need to be demoted. Do you know what I mean?
100. It's such a fair point. It's such a fair point because it just shows you how ableist our world is and how because there's so many like infrastructures that sort of just they don't accommodate, they just exist. It perpetuates this ableist culture, and it's like if it wasn't for those meetings or if it wasn't for like training that people go out of their own to learn independently, they would still be perpetuating the ableist culture, you know? And I find it really interesting because like, well, I think ADHD as well, there's so many symptoms, there's so many different ways that someone will experience some ADHD. Like nobody's ADHD is the same. There might be like patterns in their behavior. Like I know that me and you, we've talked a lot about like the energetic factor, but have you heard about this like rejection sensitivity in related to ADHD?
Yeah, experience it every day.
Honestly, rejection sensitivity, like for listeners who don't know, is just like the like people with ADHD are going to be more, their rejection sensitivity is heightened. So this just means that they're very like, if they get rejected, they're going to feel it like 10 times more than a neurotypical person, because a neurotypical person can like see it as rejection and also see like an end to it, or like that it will leave. But the thing is, for a neurodivergent person or an ADHD person, that rejection will stay in their body.
It's so hard.
And it will be triggered. Well, I'm speaking for myself, but like it can be triggered by so many different things. And it's so draining. Like from a spiritual perspective, I know rejection is like redirection. I know that with my heart and soul. But it's so annoying when my body and my mind are saying completely different things, and that's without, and then you add bloody intrusive thoughts into the mix. It's a whole mess.
Yeah, it's literally, example of this recently is I kept trying to make a plan with my friend, and he kept having to cancel on me, for different reasons, and every single one of them reasons was so valid. But I think the fourth time or something, I literally was so annoyed, and it was literally just that he was ill, and he was really ill. I literally was so upset about it. It truly ruined my day. I was so, and I had such a big argument with him, and it's at the end of the day, it's all completely valid, and it's all, we ended up seeing each other a few days later. It wasn't oh no, never, fuck off, I hate you. But in my mind, I was why am I so worthless? Blah 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 blah. And it's you can't even I can't rationalize it. It just hurts so much. And then I was now I'm causing a problem when it's not a problem, but it feels like such a massive problem.
Do you know what is interesting? Because that's another thing as well, heightened emotions.
Oh, yeah. This is something I really wanted to talk about, actually. That's the one thing. So the medication has, by the way, for all listeners, I'm on atomoxetine, which is it's a non-stimulant one. So because I get quite bad anxiety, so I'm just having a sip of water. You know when your mouth's doing that clack?
No, absolutely. Go for it, girl. Go for it, girl. I'm going to have one too.
Because I get quite bad anxiety. I'm on the one that's a non-stimulant. So it doesn't heighten my anxiety as well. So since starting the medication, a lot of things has really changed. I can really feel it. But this is the one thing that I think has the medication doesn't touch, which is shit. One of the hardest things about it is that emotional sensitivity. Pmdd.
Is that related? Wait, actually, can you explain what Pmdd is? Because I've got an understanding, but not concrete.
I don't actually know I can't think. It's premenstrual, and then I think it's a depression disorder.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Sorry. It's like PMS with knobs on.
Yeah.
So it was it's like clockwork. Every month, a week before my period, I have a day where I literally, every single thing affects me so much. I often literally can't get out of bed. I feel so upset. I will have so many arguments with people, and I'll be so down to a point where I worry myself. I worry about myself. And then a week later I'll get my period and I'll be there you go.
Exactly.
And the medication has not touched that. It hasn't helped with that. And yeah, emotion. The emotion thing is the hardest. It's every single emotion feels times 10, and then you get there. So it's if something pisses me off, I'll get angry, a little more angry than I probably should, and then stuck in anger, and then for at least 10 minutes, anything that anyone says, I'm for a fight, and then it goes, and I'm shit, sorry.
Honestly,
then, positive emotions. So it's something will make me happy.
Yeah,
and I'm stuck at that absolute happiness, and it's lovely and it's amazing. So that's a really great part of it.
But it's not even just you're not just happy, you're elated. You're literally on cloud 9.
Yeah, literally. So then I'm excited about something, but then sometimes it gets to the point where I'm excited, and then I'm so excited that then everyone's oh my God, shut the fuck up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely been a time, I remember a time in work, I was in the staff room and I was just having so much fun in work that day. I don't know what it was, something happening where I found everything so funny. And I was sat there and working, some people were on their break or something. I was finding everything so funny to the point where I think I said something or did something that was really inappropriate to someone who was having a bad day.
Okay.
I was so stuck in that everything's hilarious. I don't know, I just took it to the nth degree of, oh my God, I'm being a twat. And then I ended up apologising to them a few hours later, I'm really sorry, for some reason I just couldn't calm myself down.
Yeah.
And then they got it, but it's that thing of, that you're stuck in this place of, oh my fucking God, everything's amazing, everything's hilarious. and I can't bring myself down to match your energy. Do you know what I mean?
It's really interesting you say that as well, because it's like, I think as human, like, as people in it, we aren't responsible for other people's emotions. But as someone who has ADHD and have heightened sensitivity, we internalize the thought process of like, how are we affecting others? And it's really, really strange, because it's like, obviously we need to be considerate to that degree, like the example that you said, but also it's like, the feelings that are in my body right now can only be understood by people with this condition, because like I have to interact with people who are neurotypical, and they're going to have all their presumptions about me and get influenced or offended or appreciate me in certain mood sets. And it's just annoying, because it's like, I think when you are neurotypical, you have the freedom to like just exist. But when you're neurodivergent, you have the freedom to explore all these different sides of yourself, but it's always going to be in conflict with the neurotypical around you, because they don't understand what you're seeing. Like it could be something minor. Like I didn't realize that, like, okay, so this could be like, oh, I eat because I'm bored. I just thought I'm a foodie, right? And then I realized that's related to my ADHD. And I was like, what? And it's like, yeah, because you're looking for something to be entertained by. And it's weird, because like a lot of people say ADHD people focus on the things that they shouldn't be doing, but they have trouble focusing on the things that they should be doing. And I find it really interesting, because it's like, I think people with ADHD are just quite more creative with their approach. Yes, they might long things out when they get done, but when they do get it done, it's come with so much force and so much energy. And I think that's one thing that I struggle with, focus. And like, even though I'm not on medication, because I haven't been diagnosed yet, I've noticed the difference in me if I like was to use CBD compared to if I wasn't. And I find it really, really interesting. I don't know the science of like how people with ADD or ADHD rely on like different forms of cannabis, I was going to say cannabis, but like different forms of cannabis to help them. But I also find it really interesting how like, if I was to use this component, I'm going to feel more regulated with my emotions. I'm going to feel more like I can release my emotions. It's not just pent up energy, you know? And I find it really interesting, because like, it just shows you how everyone is different, you know? Crazy.
You know, something that's really interesting about that as well is coffee is actually really good for if you're unmedicated. So like for me, coffee is like, if I've forgotten to take my medication, work, if I have a coffee, it'll almost do the same effect as the medication, nearly. And a lot of people self-medicate, but then one more, and then I'm pushed over the edge and I'm anxious and I feel like shit. But like that little like bit of coffee, it almost acts like, because it's a stimulant, so it acts like that medication for a little bit. So I know a lot of people with ADHD who haven't got medication yet do use coffee as a way to self-medicate. But I really want to go back to, you know what you said about the when you eat when you're bored.
Yeah.
That's the thing that the medication has most affected my life with.
Yeah.
And like, can I do a trigger warning?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Please.
So I'm going to talk about trigger warning, eating disorders.
Okay.
And like food.
Okay.
So I always like this eating when you're bored thing. I was, until I started medication, convinced that I was absolutely addicted to food. And I don't understand how other people live their lives not thinking about food 24/7. My whole life it's been like that. I like have always had like arguments with my family where they call me like greedy, where like we'll be like dishing out the food and I'll be looking at everyone else's plates to make sure that I've got the exact same amount as everyone else. And they'll all cause family arguments, because I'd be like, oh, this person has more than me, and they're like, why do you give a shit? They've got one more piece of pasta than you. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be like, I'd feel really hard done by if I had like one less chicken nugget. Like, and someone can even like offer food, I'd be like, yes, give me all the food. Like, I would every single time I just wasn't doing anything, I'd be like, even if I'd like just had my lunch or something, like I would then, if I'm sitting down watching TV, okay, cool, I'm gonna have like a bowl of soup, I'm gonna have some toast, like to like keep my mouth occupied, occupied.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wake up, I go to bed the night before thinking about what I'm gonna have for breakfast, eat my breakfast, think about lunch, then think about tea. And then it got to this place where I then felt always really guilty about the fact that I was always eating. So then when I was a teenager, I'd make myself throw up. Like I'd binge and then make myself throw up loads. And then like I'd always have, it was probably one of the things that affect my mental health so much, especially if I was home alone. It would just be that thing of I'd be sat there having an argument in my mind of, oh my God, all I want right now is some noodles, or all I want right now is a pizza. But it's 3:00 in the afternoon. I'm not hungry one bit. I had lunch 2 hours ago. I'm going to have my soon, but I want another full meal. And I'd have an argument in my head like, no, you don't need to eat, but I want to eat, but you don't need it. You're not hungry, blah, 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 blah. And I'd always lose and like lose the argument with myself, always eat, and then always feel so guilty and upset. And I stopped making myself throw up when I finished high school or something, but I'd feel so guilty. And oh my gosh, guilty to the point of like, I literally hate myself. And it was always because of food. And like, it would always be like, anytime I went into town by myself, anytime I went anywhere, anytime I finished work, I walked past the hot dog stand. So I would buy a hot dog because I can. I'd like buy a Greggs, eat it on the bus, and then make the wrapper away so that when I get home, no one knows I've had a Greggs. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not hungry at all. I know that I'm about to get on the bus, go home, eat my tea. But because I'm walking past a Greggs, I have to go in and buy something. And it's always that for so long. Turns out it's because when you've got ADHD, I'm not a scientist, but when you've got ADHD, your dopamine receptors suck up dopamine too quickly, I think. So the dopamine doesn't have a chance to release the pleasure in the body for then you to feel pleasure for a long amount of time, which is why we do like start a hobby and then stop it. Because that's like the dopamine is, it's like a dopamine hit when you first start it and then the dopamine wears off. So food gives you a hit of dopamine. Everything you eat, and like drink as well. Things like that. Anything that's like that gives you that hit of dopamine. So for me, I was trying to always give myself
that dopamine,
always eating all the time. And then since I've taken my medication, it's crazy. Like, I still love food, and you know me, like I fucking love food. I love.
We love a cook. Remember when you came round mine and I made that cabbage, and I was like, "I got hash browns for you, my darling." So good,
so good. But like, I love cooking. I love.
Yeah, you're a great cook.
I'm a good cook, but but I still love it all. I absolutely love it all. But I'm not now having the constant battle in my head of, oh, now I want to eat just to eat. I'm still gonna have my really nice big breakfast. I'm still gonna have a really creative lunch, have a really creative tea. I still love going out for meals. I still really appreciate food, but I'm not walking. I'm not walking and going, there's a hot dog stand, so I'm gonna get a hot dog. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not sat there watching TV, like, what can I put in my mouth right now? And I'm not serving out the tea and being really obsessive with the fact that I have to serve it out to make sure I have the same amount as everyone else. And that's the really, really, really positive thing. And I don't hate myself in my relationship with food anymore.
Thank you so much for sharing. Honestly, because like, I think, like you even said earlier, oh, I'm not a scientist, but like you're giving literally the raw, the unfiltered experience of what ADHD has been like for you. And like you even mentioned something about like this, your story as well, it showed an example of how we can pick up like disorders or like other mental health issues on the way. Because like as a woman, you don't get represented. Oh no, as a woman, you don't really get much representation of ADHD, and then things will lead you, or your experiences, or your lack of dopamine will lead you into seeking those experiences out for yourself. This can let you into a lot of unnerving, like anxiety-ridden situations. This could even lead to depression. It's so interesting because it's like there's so many people with ADHD that have like comorbidity, and that just means that they don't just have ADHD, they have ADHD and anxiety. They don't have ADHD, but they have ADHD and this thing. So it just shows you how, like, because of the lack of representation and because of the lack of advocacy for women, they're vulnerable to these different experiences in life. And it's crazy. Like, even there's a TikToker that I love. I can't remember their name, but I'm sure I'll send it to you or like showcase it when the episode comes out. And he really, really helped me with my ADHD, or like helped me make sense of my ADHD. Because with me, my mind is like, there's always a conversation, right? Like, if I'm in a conversation with you, that's when it's not having a conversation. And I'll constantly be like sensitive to all these different forms of information, and it's made me feel really like upset with myself, because it's like people don't think. People can have freedom not to think and have a mind just blank, and through meditation that's really like helped me. But then equally, let's say if I was like smoking, right, and I was meditating, that's when, like, it's weird, but my body would sometimes be in its best self. But then when I'm not smoking and I'm just relying on meditation, then I'm really, really struggling with the attention aspect, because I'm being pulled by all these different things. And it's annoying because I can see people get annoyed at me for not processing things that they do. And it's like, babe, I've got 8 conversations going on in my head, and that's not just the intuitive cues that I've seen around me, and it's very interesting. Like, you also said something as well about like picking up hobbies and starting them and then leaving them and stuff. People don't also talk about in ADHD how you'll start to dislike your hobby, and it's really, really sad, because it's like you'll have so many unfinished projects around you, and they used to call you joy. They used to literally cause you joy, and like now they're causing you frustration, disappointment, and hobbies. It's so sad. Like, I started wire wrapping, I don't like it. I started painting, I didn't like it. I started drawing, I didn't like it. And now I'm in this place where I need to change, like, I'm trying to change my mindset to like things again. And it's like, I'm constantly seeking something new, and it's jarring. It's so bloody exhausting.
It's shit as well, because it makes you really doubt yourself, because so like you spend money buying shit to like do your hobby, and then as soon as you get the stuff, then like, oh, not a fan anymore. Don't.
Do you know what I mean?
The amount of money I've wasted on shit,
honestly,
and then it just sits in my drawer waiting for me to actually then want to do it, and I'm like, I don't want to spend money on it. And then it's like, then I got to a point where I was like, oh, I realised that was because of ADHD. So then I got to a point where I'm like, well, I don't want to pick up any new hobbies, because I'm like doubting myself. I'm like, I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll really enjoy doing this. And then my mind, no, don't spend money on it, because it's ADHD and you'll get it. And then in 2 weeks' time, you'll hate it. And then I don't spend money on it. And I'm like, but I could have just learned a new skill then.
Do you know what I mean? No, I completely get you. Like, I'm trying to trick myself into things now. So that's when I mentioned those dance classes. It's been helpful because, like, I'm learning something new, but I'm also being like, unintentionally peer pressured, because I'm going to a class with people, and like, I think when you do tasks in front of people or with people, it can like sort of encourage you to like do it as well. This TikToker described it as body doubling, and because it's like you're able to like, sorry, there's a fly that's annoying me. You're able to sort of like mirror. Even if you're not doing exactly what they're doing, you're able to mirror the person's actions, and therefore it encourages you to get the task done. And like, it's a lot. Like, I can't lie, I've given up a lot of hobbies. Reading isn't the same, which is kind of sad, because I used to really enjoy reading.
I just can't do it anymore.
But yeah, like, I think podcasting has actually been the only thing that I've been consistent with and disciplined with. But I like that, because I love having a podcast, but then also I'm talking about something new every week. Like, I've got a different guest every week, so I'm learning something different. It's not the only like repetitive thing is setting up the microphone, like, it's not as restrictive as a task could be, because I'm always learning something new. And yeah, it's really, really helped me. But then equally saying that, if we talk on the flip side with the admin stuff, that also makes me feel a bit on edge. Like, I'm sure you've probably seen me post about bloody social media, or like listen to a podcast episode about it.
Social media, that it's like always been like a, I don't want the pressure of it.
Oh,
I've always been someone, like, I don't want to, like, I'd rather talk to you on text.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give you the pressure of having to be on social media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and literally, it's such a thing with like I literally let people know my relationships like quite early on, because like I find social media quite overwhelming, and I know that that's probably the case for most people. But like, if you're a podcaster, if you're a content creator, you need to promote, you need to advertise, you need to show your. Like, you need to just show it, innit? And like the whole idea of scheduling and the whole idea of like marketing and understanding where the peak times is to post shit, it just bores me. It just really, really like annoys me. I find it very like tedious. But then equally, if I want to be a part of this game, I need to play the rules, you know? Mm-hmm. So like, it's interesting because right now actually, you know what? You guys can have an exclusive. I'm in the process of like trying to like change some of my followers, or change some of my listeners to follow me in a different platform. So I think I'm going to release a newsletter, whether that be monthly or weekly or something. It's just something where people can get to know me, engage with my content, engage with like my interests, but not just be relied on social media.
Yeah. Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I had any other notes to say to you, but we've had a really good conversation about ADHD, which I've enjoyed. Oh, my last question actually. So what is life like after diagnosis? I know that's pretty broad, but no, I think, I just want to, like, if we could end Decoding the Messages, was just asking or giving advice to people with life after diagnosis, like what can help you, what can help others?
I think that this is the thing, like, I don't want to be like, I don't know, is there a stigma about medicating? Because I am just like, if any advice I want to say is that the medication is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
No, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. If you have the chance to go on medication, I don't know if I'm lucky because the first one I tried hit exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on atomoxetine, and I'm also on melatonin to help me sleep.
Oh my God, sleep. Let's not even talk about it, because sleep, we can do a whole podcast on bloody ADHD and sleep. Shit.
I read a thing recently that apparently like the meridian cycle of neurodiverse people is from like 3 a.m. till like 1 p.m. But the meridian cycle for neurotypical people is like 11 p.m. till 7 a.m.
Yeah.
But so yeah, fucking hell, melatonin has helped so much. To the point where like literally, like I keep like spontaneously like staying at my mate's house, and the first few times I didn't take my melatonin with me, and I was truly late in bed awake the whole night. And then I've just started taking my melatonin with me everywhere now, just in case I stay over at someone's house. And it just like out like a light. Like I've never slept like it having melatonin.
Oh, amazing. Mate, I need to get that stuff. Shit, son.
Yeah, it's cool because I think it's people with autism and ADHD don't produce melatonin, or don't produce enough, which is the hormone that makes you fall asleep. So yeah, it's fucking fabulous. But the medication it's just changed everything, and I feel like, and I can feel it when I don't take my medication as well, because I do forget. I try not to, but like I obviously do. Forget quite often. When I've not taken it, it's like my brain is like all of these tangled, like it's like a tangled ball of wool, or like it's so foggy, it's so hard to connect everything, and everything is like doosh, doosh. It's like I put a fucking thing on my private Instagram the other day that was, you know that song, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, well I think I missed this one this year. That's what ADHD feels like.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Like just that, like duh, 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 duh. Brain constantly just going. When I'm on medication, it's just like serene.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
It's like the ball of wool has untangled itself and rolled itself up, and it's just a wool. I say wool because I fucking love crochet, but do you know what I mean? Or like you know them like wire games that people play.
No, I completely understand you. Like, I'm really resonating with what you're saying, and like I think
everything's just untangled and clear and lovely.
Oh, I love that for you. I want to be like that. I don't think there's a stigma. I mean, everybody's different, innit? Like, everybody has a different relationship with medication. And I think, like, well, for any listeners, for any people who are thinking about it, just do your research, because it's just like knowing what works for you as well. I haven't experienced ADHD medication, but I've had medication for like either anxiety or depression that I'm no longer on. And I found it affecting me differently because of, I don't know, my own. Okay, actually, here's an example. So have you heard of citalopram or been on citalopram before?
No, I've heard of it because I think one of my friends has just started it.
So so as me, like, you know me, I'm an energetic person, right? Was on citalopram. Oh my goodness Christ. I genuinely thought I was on drugs. Like, I mean, like, as in, I was ecstatic. Like, I was literally bouncing off the walls. It probably influenced by the fact that, like, I think I have ADHD as well. But it's the fact that, like, that rush and that adrenaline was so much for me, you know? And I think, like, that experience of being on a medication for my depression at the time, it taught me that I need to regulate my body in like more ways than just one, because I'm going to find it really overwhelming. And it's just going to burn me out, you know? So like, I know that obviously some things you need medication for, some things you can look for like natural alternative like roots and stuff. And I think it's just like learning and researching enough to see what works for you, because people can go on medication, they can come off it, people can try different natural alternatives, they can come off it. It's just sort of having that diagnosis or having that like confirmation that there's opportunities and things out there that can help you.
Can I just say as well, like as a little sidebar, something that's really interesting about ADHD that's really been good to know for me, and it relates to the whole Pmdd thing, is in women, I think, and girls and people like assigned female at birth, I think the hormones are like you're really badly affected by hormones with ADHD, and hormones can really affect your mental health when you have ADHD, like your hormone levels. I think it can with anyone, but I think it's especially prevalent with people with ADHD. So that's why a lot of people get PMDD, because that's your hormone fluctuation. But that's also, it's really explained by the fact that I've never, ever, ever found a contraceptive that has worked for me. Ever. Not once. Every single time I've ever taken any kind of medication that has a hormone in, it has really fucked me up. Absolutely fucked me up mentally, physically, every single thing about it. It's I cannot do anything with my hormones. And so like the only contraception I can get now is the coil. That's very hard to get. Like you have to, you're not allowed to get it through your GP. It's really random.
Oh really?
Yeah, you have to go specifically to a sexual health clinic. And then obviously in Manchester, waiting times for sexual health clinics. And also there's the whole thing of like, got ADHD, so I can't be asked to make an appointment. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, do you know what's so funny? Like, even with when people have ADHD, it's like, okay, so like I've got an appointment at 3. That means everything before 3 is block off. Like I can't do anything before 3. Anything. Like I might eat.
Literally, I had an appointment with my foot at 4 p.m. like 2 days ago, and I was like, the night before, I was like, okay, cool, tomorrow I'm going to go into town, I'm going to go shopping, and blah, 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 blah. Then I woke up in the morning, remembered I had this appointment, I was like, cool, I have no plans for this whole day now, because I've got an appointment at 4 p.m.
Honestly, it's so weird. It's so weird how your executive function is just like, no.
Yeah, literally, no. Can't
and you just have to go with it, because if you try and go against it, you'll be met with so much like internal criticism, whether that's through like your mental space or your body, and it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, that's why I find shift work really hard, because it's like if I have a shift that is starting later on in the day, I've not got plans for that day. And also the reason why I find just work in general, especially shift work, really hard, is because it's that when you have just like 1 day worth of break in a space of 6 days, my brain can't disconnect, easy enough. I get hyper focused, so I can't disconnect my brain when I'm not at work from work. So I'll go home, and if I know I'm in work tomorrow, then I'm dreaming about work all night, and then I go back into work. Don't get me started on the fucking dreams.
Honestly, no, the dream, like, that's crazy.
I want 2 days off in a row, which I'd never get because I work full time. I shift work. Like, it's, I can't, I never get a break, which is why I'm on a week's worth of holiday, and I'm like, oh my God, I finally feel like I've now got a break for the first time since November.
You feel like you catch up on yourself, and it's so strange.
It's like my whole entire personality, my whole brain just becomes the fact that I am at work and I'm a working person until I have off in a row. It's fucking horrible.
Honestly.
Absolutely horrible. But that thing as well with shift work, like when I used to work at the pub, my shifts would start at like fucking 7 o'clock at night. And even starting at 7 o'clock at night, because I had a shift that day, I did nothing. Absolutely nothing, because I had a shift at night. Ridiculous.
Honestly.
Yeah, but the other thing is that I would say about I'm sorry, I'm like literally just going completely back.
No, this is it's education for me, but also education for all the listeners, because they can understand. They can, like, I think that's a freedom about podcasts, or that's a freedom talking to your mate about neurodiverse people, because it's like you can understand how it feels, not what you read on a textbook.
Yeah, but yeah, with the medication thing. Everyone around me who I'm with a lot says that they can really see in me when I'm not on it, like when I've forgotten to take it. Like, obviously, like, I live with Jack and Ben, and they will truly be, are you taking your medication today?
Yeah.
Like, literally day by day, I'm a different person. If I forget to take it for a bit, like for a day or two, I then will take it again, and the side effects that I first got when I first started having it, I'll get again, which is really but then, like, my family, I see them, like, maybe every few weeks. And obviously they lived with me for my whole life when I wasn't on medication. And then when I first went on it, and the first few times I saw them, they were like, wow, it's crazy how much of a difference there is. And I went around the other day for my mum's birthday, and I forgot to take it that day. And we were absolutely pissing ourselves, because it was like, oh my God, it's exactly how it used to be. It's so funny. We were just like, it's so much. And what's really funny as well is, my dad, it's hereditary ADHD, like hereditary, and we all think that my dad probably has it, like his whole personality, everything. Me and my dad are like the same person. So much stuff that is literally like, you can like literally sit in a room with 5 minutes with my dad and you're like, that man has ADHD. But I said this to him once, and he got quite upset about it. I don't know if it's because he's like nearly 60. He's got a whole life. He's got ADHD. He's done like loads of degrees, shit like that, and everything. Like, I'm pissed off because school would have been easier for me. If I can't imagine being my dad. 60 years of your life would have been different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I completely understand what you mean. I think I know it is hereditary, but I also like you said, like, you wish someone advocated you for a child because they would have helped you, but like as an adult, you've experienced like generations, like you've experienced like so many different forms of generation. And I don't mean generation in the sense of like that age group, but like you've experienced like being in the millennial age, you've been experienced being in the 90s. Like, you've had so many decades of experience that have influenced who you are. So if you had ADHD to contribute to that factor, I'm not trying to say there's shame around it, but like I definitely see a difference with like older people talking about ADHD compared to younger people talking about ADHD, because there's something like, I guess, stigmatized in the conversation of neurodivergency. You know? But yeah, it's crazy. It's mud. Everything's mud. But I'm so grateful for this conversation. Honestly, like, it's really opened my heart and like opened my eyes to like so many different aspects of ADHD, and I hope that listeners can also take advantage of what they've learned today. Do you know what?
Honestly, sorry, go on.
What I find so funny is like every time you and me have a conversation, same with like every time like me and Janisha have a conversation.
I literally was about to say her name. I was about to say her name.
We're together. It is literally true, like pill, 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 pill. Like,
100.
Is there a track that we can stay on? Because I don't think we ever will.
Oh, never. But like, also, I'm so grateful for it because like, it's weird. Like, no, we like it just shows you like we've known each other what maybe like 2 years or how many like not complete, not very long, you know. But how is it that I feel so free talking to you? Like even before you had been diagnosed and I was trying my diagnosis, there was a freedom in conversation. There was like a place where we hold space for each other, and it just shows you like regardless of how long you've known someone, you can just relate to someone and they can be your friend too. Like it doesn't have to be so like methodological, you know, because like when you meet friends, sometimes it's like getting to know people. Me and you just jumped straight in it. Same with Janice, I jumped straight in it. Like I remember seeing her and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I asked her for a chat. No, I asked her I think to go for a drink or like go to the pub or something. And then since then we've just became quite close, you know. And it just shows you that like the people that are for you will find you and they will hold you and they will give you that reciprocity, if that's the word, that you need. But thank you. Really enjoyed talking to you in the DMs. I said it wrong. I really enjoyed talking to you and decoding the messages. I feel like it's given the listeners a lot of stuff to think about, especially with ADHD, because it influences so much of our day and hopefully it can resonate with listeners. But to say that, we are taking it to our next segment, which is Tarot Talks, and this is where I give a tarot reading to the lovely Eve. We were just having a discussion about career, and it actually reminded me of an oracle card message that I used last week. The oracle card message said, this moment is the most important. Is this how you want to use it? So after reflecting on that oracle card message, I developed the question that I want to ask Spirit, and that is, how can we use this moment and ourselves to enhance our career? So I'm going to shuffle these cards. If you could breathe in and out for me, and yeah, we'll just do tarot reading. Tell me when to stop when you're ready, okay?
Stop.
Amazing. Right. So the first of, we've got Knight of, is it, sorry, two seconds. No, it is, okay. So they've got different names in this deck. So basically, the first thing that we have is the Knave of Pentacles. And the Knave of Pentacles is also to do with the Page. And the Page is like a younger character within their family. But this young character is free from structure. Right? They are free from, it's like they haven't been influenced by the world just yet. So they're just going on and like, they're just trying their best, you know? Like, you know, those kind of energies where people like learn on the job. Yeah. Yeah. So Page of Pentacles, actually, you can't really see it, but like, it's basically, oh, I'll show you. The great thing is I like this background, but it just means that nobody can see shit. Oh, wait.
Truly just your hand. Yeah.
So basically it's this figure and they're walking on this entwining path that has mushrooms. They've got a suit on, they've got a pentacle in their hand, and this pentacle is something that they've created. It's also a behavior that they've took to get to this experience. And pentacles are to do with like earthly practical matters. So whether that's making something with your hands, whether that is your career, whether that's your ego, whether it's your health, it's everything that's sort of external to you. And I think in response to your question, the Knave of Pentacles has turned up because it's an attitude that you need to take to go into your journey. It has to be quite fluid. It has to be quite free thinking, because it understands that the obstacles that are on your pathway are just like steps to get to the next place. I'm going to pull out some more cards just for some affirmation. Should I use the same deck? Yeah, use the same deck. Okay.
I think that's pretty interesting as well, though, because like I was literally thinking, like, I literally decided, like yesterday, that I'm just going to apply for jobs and just see what comes. Like, I was thinking, oh, should I apply for jobs in this sector, in this sector, in this sector? But like, in reality, I don't like. I've got a fucking fine art degree, and I don't want to do fine art. So,
do you want to do anything creative?
Kind of like I'd like to do visual merchandising. But like I'm also like I'm really open to just trying new things and doing that thing of like learning on the job. I'd like to do something where you are doing something that you then create something, you put something out there, rather than just answering some emails. I'm so willing to just try anything to like learn a new skill, just see what's out there.
I just got the like a message, sorry, before I forget, like, have you thought about like events planning? Have you ever thought about like encouraging people to host events?
So that's the one thing I think I wouldn't want to do, because the stress of organising and being worried about whether anyone's going to show up. I'm like you, like I find social media really hard, and I know that a lot of that would be that. But I think like something like this might sound really contradictory to what I've said because of social media, but like something like advertising or marketing, something where you're creating, because I really understand like sales, what sells, how to, things like that. I get sales and I get creative stuff, so that's why I'm like visual merchandising would be ideal. But then like things like marketing, advertising, things like that, or like also like I like things that's like manipulating figures, like trends. Like,
sure thing. Well, with the Pentacles energy, it's like a long-standing energy. It's like, you know, like it takes 100 pennies to make a pound, and like what are you going to contribute day to day to get to that pound? I want to pull some more cards, Spirit. Okay. Right. Yeah, so there's definitely a conflict in your environment and how you want to change and like move with that intention. You got the 7 of Swords and the 5 of I'm the 5 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords is like it can be understood as a denial to your truth, but it also can be understood as a you know, like smoke and mirrors. It's like illusions around you and sort of determining what's true. It's like an obstacle with the mind. And like the card is so beautiful. You see like all of these like butterflies that are sort of like people. And whenever I see butterflies, I always think about this metamorphosis archetype, and how like every butterfly was a cocoon, and now you're doing something to change that obstacle to come out and be the butterfly. I also think with the 5 of Pentacles, with the 5 of Wands, sorry, is competing energies in your environment, and it's trying to understand what is worth fighting for. So if your question is to do with how can I enhance my career, I would say be fluid in your approach to application. I think what you're doing is going to take a lot of like creativity. Oh, sorry, my laptop's. I just got let me get that. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Like I just got scared because my laptop was on low battery. Anyway, so I'm just going to use another deck to clarify, but I think the Page of Pentacles is the approach that you're going to have to take to be fluid on your approach to enhance your career. I think there's like loads of mushrooms in this image, and it kind of reminds me of like being planted, like being grounded in your approach. Like I think mushrooms come in all different shapes and sizes, and it's sort of another example of being fluid in your approach. I also think that like the 7 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles that have come up together kind of ask like, what are you dreaming about, and how are you limiting yourself with the perspectives and opinions of others? Just because like with 5 of Pentacles, with 5 of Wands, it's like competing energy, and then the 7 of Swords is like your mental space, and it's like maybe your environment, maybe the competing energy of any others, or the competing perspectives of others are also influencing how you're making your decision and how you're internalizing the message. Spirit, can I just have a clarifier for this card? Because this has really resonated with me as well. Spirit, please can I have a clarifier? Okay, are these the clarifiers? Okay, I think these are the clarifiers. No, wait, no, they're not. I was like trying to hold it. I was like, no, it's gone off me. So, Spirit, can I have a clarifier, please? Okay, yeah, so it's definitely a mental conflict, because look at this guy. This guy is like, this guy's like fighting with different versions of himself, and this person has all the swords and all the people are behind him, and they're all in different motions of how they got their opinion across. You've also got this card paired with the King of Cups. So I think in your decision making, I know obviously financial matters and material matters are influencing how comfortable we can be sometimes and our security, but it also encourages you to like go with what your heart says and like be more intentional with the jobs that you are going for. I understand like you want to try things, you want to learn new skills, but is there could you do like a bottom down approach? Like, is there anything that you're like, oh my god, this would be absolutely amazing, and then work your way down, because then you can put a goal in mind, and those skills, those perspectives can help you get to where you need to be. It's like let's say, what's a job that you really really like that's incredible, amazing, like wow?
Real housewife, staying at home doing
I mean, I wish we all could.
Probably like visual merchandising.
So like, let's say you're visual merchandising at a visual merchandising for a brand that you really 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 fuck with, then you could like see if there's opportunities within that brand that you could get experience on, or you could even do like a job which have you worked in retail before? That's funny, but I mean like you know how there's different like clothes retail?
No.
So maybe it's something like working. Well, to be fair, that's still like shift patterns. Really, you can't really do 9 to 5.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm like, do I want to do visual merchandising? Because is it shift patterns? But I think it depends.
It comes eventually. It's like you work your way up, though, isn't it?
I think like if you're, I don't fully know, but like I feel like I want like my ideal job would be like the person who sits in the office and creates the plans for a whole like chain of stores.
Yeah.
Goes into these stores on a fucking not weekend, and like make sure that it's happening right and trains people up into how to do it.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be the person who makes what a store looks like, and then sure that that's implemented, and like to look like that because of manipulating sales figures and. Do you know what I mean? Like making sure things are selling correctly.
Yeah, no, I completely see that for you. I just think it's how you, what your, I guess, clue now is how you go about that process. Because like even me, I used to work at H&M. So like working at H&M, there was a very like a route that you take. You can be a sales assistant and then you get experience with the visual people, and then you could go to different stores to get some training. And it just shows you how like, how I was able to how I could get to one goal for a different way. But some people go to college, you know, some people there's so many different routes to move through to get to your dream. I'm just pulling some affirmation cards. Can you breathe in and out for me? Tell me when to stop when you're ready. Amazing. Okay, right. So I definitely think as you approach these job opportunities, you need to be very compassionate to yourself, because the inner critic can get a bit louder. And it's like you need to make decisions. The first card that we got was I make decisions with a mindset of abundance. When we make choices knowing that we are blessed, that we will never lack financially or spiritually, we attract more of the things that make us happy. And I think this opportunity is like asking you to dream bigger, because we actually got the 7 of cups at the bottom of the deck, and that's like, how are your beliefs influencing your decisions? Like, are you acting small and acting shy so that you're not actually reaping the wants and the desires that you so need? Or are you being like, oh, this will do, you know? And I think that's why the Page of Pentacles came up as well, because it's being fluid within that approach, but understanding that you've got so much wisdom within yourself to sort of manipulate the process, and your experience will allow you to it's like your job has allowed you to develop experience in different aspects of your life. So how can I use that in certain careers? Maybe you should talk to is there anybody that you know, or any organization? I mean, I use YouTube like there's no tomorrow, like just different ways, alternative ways that might not seem fit to the eye, that you can learn about getting experience, getting an opportunity to do this for your career. Because like the other card, you got basically 3 other cards, but one jumped out. And it was like, the first one, at the big age, wisdom is my friend. Not just the years based on this current time on earth, you have many lives of wisdom to access. Use all your ancestral knowing to guide yourself. The next one was, my food is seasoned and so is my life. Those who season their food know how to expect the best from life. If there's any areas of blandness in your life, add your unique spice to it. Create a life that tastes amazing. And then, I know that's such a good one. And the other one was, putting myself first is healthy. We often believe that is constantly put others before ourselves makes us good people. While caring for others is important, we can only help others when we've helped ourselves.
Nice.
I think, yeah, I would just encourage you to have a fluid approach. Make sure that you're not acting small in your desires as well, just because like that 7 of Swords energy is very like suppressing, you know. It's like suppressing, and that can be influenced by the people around you, or the job around you, or the finances around you, because we've kind of encouraged in this capitalist society to just do with what we're given. But really, when we dream and when we like work in alignment with our desires, then we're only going to bring more of them in. So yeah, I think that's your reading. How was that for you?
That's really it's really like relevant and like really interesting as well, because like that is a thing that I've been really getting in my head about. Like I wanna go into like a career. I want that, what I described was something like that. But I'm like, I have a fine art degree that I've done nothing. I've worked in a pub, I've been a babysitter, I've worked in retail, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's like my brain keeps almost putting myself down of like, you don't have the experience, you don't have like a degree in marketing, you don't have this, you don't have that. Like, I've never done a LinkedIn. I'm bad at applications. Like, I keep like putting myself down, and like, when I'm just like, no, I just need to fucking like put myself out there. I need to like apply for these jobs that maybe I don't have the experience in, but you know, I'm really fucking good at learning on the job.
There you go.
I'm also like, I'm thinking I don't have the experience. I've done so much fucking visual merchandising where I work now. Like, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, experience. And
it's like, you got visual merchandising for a brand that has been quite fluid, you know? Like, yeah, they don't have like, yeah, it's not like clothes, which is like a different sort of telling point, but it's like, you know, the recipe now, you're going to have different ingredients, you know, and you're just going to try and adapt your style to be aligned with the company that you're working for, but also show a new fresh perspective to it. So I have faith with you. You literally just have like, the fact that you got the King of Cups out just makes me think that you need to be like heartfelt with your decision, and like just do something that you enjoy, because it's not fair to you to settle, and it's not fair to you to like sort of criticize the opportunities that don't feel for you, because they don't know they may need you.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know what's interesting as well, Sarah? Like, we've been talking about doing this episode for a while now, right? But now we're doing it right now when I truly made this decision. I think I've told you about this before. I make like a snap decision about my life. And I literally about like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, made the snap decision of I need to change my life. I need to change my job, blah, blah, blah. And it's come at such a time of like, oh my gosh, and now we're doing this. Like, because I tarot readers, I never get them and things like that. Yeah. And it's like, it's so like funny that we've been talking about doing this for ages, and now at the point of doing it, it's at the exact point that I need it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I love that for you. And I'll take a picture of this and I can even send it to you as well, because then you can Google the archetypes and then you can see like what's more resonant, what I need more of, what I need to appreciate of. But like that's your tarot reading, and it's really nice because like it's so annoying because when I send you the picture you'll understand what I mean. But like in this deck, wait, let me see if I can do this. In this deck, it's literally the bottom of the deck, and when you get a card at the bottom of the deck, it's like old energy, right? This is literally like one of herselves reflecting with her old self, and the old self is literally like a skeleton. So it just shows you that like whatever outdated belief that you had of yourself or perspective you had of yourself, you're releasing to chase more.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's your tarot reading. How beautiful. And it really resonated with me. At one point I was like, right, is this reading for me or for Eve? But no, thank you so much for oh my goodness, that's so jokes. I just like I had this card deck for literally how long? Maybe like 3 years or 4 years, and I just realized that the person's tongue is got like a cash note, a $50 bill on it. There's so jokes. Amazing. Well, that takes us to our last segment, and the last segment is called the direct message, and this is where we're going to leave listeners with a take-home message. What would you like to leave listeners with?
Is the message related to this? Yeah.
Anything, like yes and no, anything, whatever you feel resonates to.
I think just like I want to be like, I just want to say like, right.
Don't you worry.
I'm stressing. I'm so bad at giving advice.
No, it's absolutely fun. What? I mean, I can go first if you want.
Go on, you go first. I'll think.
So, for the direct message this week, I want to encourage listeners to know that they are never lacking. I know that in this world, which is feeling like an apocalypse every single day, if I'm honest, it's hope. Finding hope is exhausting. It really, really is. But it doesn't mean that we aren't worthy of the things that we desire. Like we need to, this is advice to myself because I know I fall into this like trap, but like we need to release the opinion of lack. We need to release the frustration of lack, because even if we are quote unquote physically lacking, that means that we know what's going on. You know, like nothing is ever complete concrete. Like if I'm complaining at the fact that like I don't have a job right now, or I don't have the job that I desire, it's like, okay, right, it can motivate me to get the job that I want, but also makes me know where I stand. It's not like there's confusion in the air that I'm like running to. So I think like removing and releasing this idea of lack can help us understand that we are credible, worthy, wise individuals, and we will be ready for our opportunities. We just need to remove this mindset of criticism and scarcity away from our mind so we can actually do something, because it can actually be quite distracting, like working in lack, and then you get overwhelmed and then you get fatigued. So like it's a cycle that I'm trying to learn how to avoid. And I think I can be a bit more proactive, as well as you guys, when let's all hold each other accountable, when we can be a bit more proactive with knowing that there's so many opportunities for us that are literally missing us, that want us, that desire us too. We can move through the world with a bit more comfort instead of just criticism, you know? So yeah, we're not lacking, guys.
Yeah, love. I know what I was saying now.
Okay, amazing. What's your direct message?
I just want to encourage everyone to like be like authentically themselves and not give a shit about what other people think. Like, because I think that's such a thing that I've always struggled with, worried about things like that, worrying about what other people think because of this personality that is so neurodiverse. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not what everyone around you has. But I just want it, everyone, especially if you're listening to this and you are neurodiverse, like, just fucking live your life. Don't give a shit about what people think of you. If you make a mistake, apologize for it. Like, if you make a mistake that you don't realize, oh shit, that's because I didn't realize. When you get told, apologize for it, own it. But don't apologize for being you. Don't apologize for being annoying or for not being able to like control your emotions. Like, apologize after if you've hurt someone, but don't apologize for being that. Don't apologize for being yourself. Own yourself. Do it, and let everyone fucking, like, everyone I know who is neurodiverse is always someone that everyone's like, when people talk about them, they're like, oh my god, like fucking Sarah, people talk about you so much. That sounds so like so much of the time people are like, oh, I miss Sarah so much, or
that's
like
so kind.
Or like to like people who don't know you, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't know Sarah. What a fucking angel. And like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's that fucking be authentically yourself, because that big personality that everyone loves.
I want to tear up, you know. I'm like,
dead deep. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to get across. Just fucking be yourself. Apologize if you have to, but don't apologize for being you. Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I think it was such a beautiful message. Thank you so much, Eve, because like I needed to hear that, like listeners needed to hear that, and there's such a power in being authentic that I'm just like, I'm really like, I know, but I'm realizing, you know. And also, can I add on to your direct message, like all the like neurodiverse babes will find each other eventually, because think about it, like, even to be fair, it doesn't matter if you're neurodiverse or not, but it's more to say like the people that are for you will find you. Like, I've known you for 2 years, but I feel so close to you. I feel like I can be completely honest with you because you hold that space for me, and because we're authentic with each other, you know. And I just think it's such a it's a freeing place to be. So thank you so much for that direct message, Eve. I've loved it. Thank you so much for coming on my podcast. It's so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Do you have any?
I've had so much fun. I'm fucking buzzing after this.
Oh, it's gassing. Yeah, like, I'm so sick. Are you on? I was going to ask, is there any socials that you have that you could leave listeners with if they want to find you, or are you like incognito?
I'm not incognito. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I think I'm just called Eve Yanni.
Okay, sick. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, EVEYIANNI.
Amazing. Thank you so much. No, you've honestly been absolutely brilliant. And this episode is going to come out, I would say like in a week or in 2 weeks. So I want to do like a little announcement. So I haven't even told you yet. So for all my Manchester babes, come down to, actually, oh my goodness, let me rewind that because now I'm talking, I don't even know what it's actually called. But I probably should have done that beforehand, but oh well.
Can I just say as well about my social thing?
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, oh, don't like you can follow me on social media, but I ain't not special. But I actually have realised I post a lot about ADHD on my story.
You do.
And a lot of people who are like being like in the process of being diagnosed or have been diagnosed and things like that message me a lot thanking me for talking about it, or like we'll have a conversation about it and stuff like that. So if you did want to follow me on Instagram, if you do have ADHD, I talk about it all the time and I'm never going to shut up about it because that's the thing that helped me get diagnosed. I'm
really grateful for it. Like it's really helped me. Also, you're bloody hilarious, and like I love your polls. Like I find it so entertaining. Like I will always have time for an Eve Yanni poll. But honestly, no, thank you so much. Like, yeah, I'm going to put it in the show notes. Everyone should shout Eve. This podcast is going to come out in like 2 weeks. So I think I have the freedom to like let people know what's happening. For all my Manchester babes, there is a festival called Save Me a Seat, and it's by Switch Manchester. And they're having a festival championing women and non-binary people from the global diversity, no, but from the global majority in Manchester on the 26th and the 27th of March. And your girl, Sarah DM, is going to do a live show on the Sunday.
Oh my gosh, does that mean you're going to be in Manchester?
I'm going to be in Manchester. I know. Well, I'm going to try and come down for a week, but the festival's going to be there for 2 days.
I'm so fucking excited.
I know, right? So, like, I wanted to just, just let people know, let listeners know, let Manchester babes know that this festival's happening. It's also going to be a live show. And how amazing is this? The live show actually falls on the second year of DM Talks.
Yes! Yes!
There's literally like a birthday party.
Oh my gosh! Right, I've already written work, but if I'm off, I'm coming.
Oh no, honestly, like, fingers crossed, man. But if not, I'm sure I'll see you because, like, I'm just so gassed.
Well, because oh my fucking god.
I'm so happy that I saved this to the end because seeing your reaction is honestly priceless. No, I'm really, really excited, and it's like an opportunity to meet like-minded creatives. It's an opportunity to showcase my talent.
That's so sick as well. That's so sick.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm really excited. I think the venue's an actual theatre, so it's going to be really cool. Like, I'm not sure my exact what I'm going to exactly do, but it's just so sick that we can have a live show for DM Talks because, like, this is something that I've been dreaming about, let alone the fact that it just landed in my lap like this. So thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
that. What did you just say?
Which theatre is it?
It is at 53-2.
Cool.
Oh wait, no, that's actually, I'm lying. So it's at, it is at 53-2. But I'll put all of this, I'll be promoting it soon. Eve's actually the first person to find out that I'm doing this because, like, that feels special because the thing is with me, like, I don't say shit, and then when I say shit, I'm like, hey guys, like, I get really nervous and shy. So, like, I'm just really excited that we're going to be able to do it, and it's going to be a great show. I can feel it. Like, it's going to be so exciting, and like, just be around Manchester people, like, be in Manchester but then be around my people. Like, it's been a minute. I've missed everyone. So, you've heard it here first, listeners. If you're in Manchester, come and visit me and come to the first live show. Woo!
Yeah, you get first listeners. At the end of March, Eve and Sarah are back together.
Literally, like, it's going to be sick. We're going to have to take pictures. We're going to be like, hey guys. But no, thank you so much for everyone who's listened today. I've absolutely loved the conversation I've had with Eve. You can follow the Instagram at you can follow the podcast Instagram at DM.Talks. You can check out my new website. Yeah, I launched a new website. So if you guys want to book a tarot reading with me, or you want to know about my wellness insights, I've even got this thing called Music Meditations at the moment where I curate playlists for any mood. So check it out. It's www.DM.Seerah.com. But yeah, I think that's it. That's it. But thanks guys for listening. I shall see you guys next week. Bye.
Yeah.